across then to Bangkok, speak to correspondent Philip Sherwell, who joins us from the Sunday Times. First of all, Philip, just bring us up to date with this case. Tell us what we know of what happened today.
Well, the court agreed to a defence motion from Suu Kyi's lawyers for a postponement because they have a late witness they want to bring in, a medical doctor who hadn't been able to testify previously because his health was not in good condition. The court agreed, and so the case has been put back for at least a week. I should say what we've had today is essentially a delay of the inevitable. Suu Kyi is on trial for a slew of charges, more than 10, which range from incitement of public unrest to sedition to corruption to election fraud. If the sentences are all imposed consecutively, which is the tradition in Myanmar, and if she's found guilty, which seems very little doubt, she would receive a tally of more than 100 years in detention. Now, you know, for anyone that's a life sentence, never mind for a 76-year-old woman who the military is absolutely determined will not have a role in Myanmar's political future. They have said that after the coup, they're going to move towards some form of elections in the next year or two. We'll see if that happens, but they are absolutely intent that Suu Kyi, who led the National League for Democracy to election landslides in 2015 and 2020, will have no role. And these court cases will be the way they do that.
Philip, what about the resistance in the country? I mean, is that continuing? Is it continuing even to build?
Yes, indeed. Now, you know, remember Suu Kyi was a great champion of peaceful resistance, of the Gandhian principles of non-violence. And her supporters after the February coup initially were absolutely intent on pursuing that policy. They turned out in those scenes, you'll remember, those massive street protests, and they were greeted with bullets and with violence and with tear gas and with mass crackdowns and mass arrests. And they have decided, the opposition who are in hiding, their leaders in ethnic areas which are outside junta control, that they would move part of their emphasis to an armed resistance. They've set up organizations called People's Defense Forces, a lot of them set up in regions spontaneously, and they have been mounting a series of ambushes and attacks on junta targets. They are claiming that over 1,000 soldiers have been killed in attacks by the PDFs, that over 200 junta officials have been killed. The junta in turn has reacted with ever greater violence. They have sort of gone in very tough in areas where resistance has been strong. They've been shelling towns. They've been burning houses. More than 1,000 people have died in junta attacks, at least. That's the minimum estimate. They've got 7,000 political detainees. So really, we're seeing an intensity of violence, and there is no sign of this country approaching peace anytime in the foreseeable.
Philip, thanks very much. Philip Sherwell, correspondent, talking to us there from